Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Welcome to my live stream. This is Oyoyo's World. Thank you guys for waking up with me this morning. Thank you guys for always coming back to watch my videos. And thank you guys for always hanging out with me on Saturdays like this. I don't take you guys for granted for any bit. I appreciate your encouragement. Yeah, that's what it is for me. Whenever I see you guys around, I feel encouraged to do more. So, guys, come in. Let's connect and let's dissect the topic. Appreciate each and every one of you. I'm holding on to at least um, have a few people in the audience before we kick it off. So, guys, come in. Let's discuss this morning. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate. Don't forget to turn off those stream so that we can have more people in the audience. All right, let me see if I can share myself out to have more people in the audience. Hey, hi Lex. Go Beyond TV. Thank you for joining me this morning. I do appreciate you guys. Hi Godwin. Thank you for joining me. Oh, 5 people watching me. All right. So guys, I'm holding on for more people in the house so we can get it started. Thank you guys for holding on with me. And if you're there, just say hi. Let me know you're in the building. Thank you. join her. All right, so I have 5 people in the house. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to kick it off, and as people come, we'll continue to have the discussion. So this morning, I'm talking about what do you do after you found out that your child isn't yours through DNA. So what do you do? How do you handle it? That will be my discussion today. What do you do? So if you're watching me out there, please put something in the chat section so we know that you're there. And let's hear your opinion on what you do when you realize that the child in question, the child you love so much, that have lived with you for the rest of his or her life, is actually not your child. This live stream and topic, this topic is coming from a video I watched about a couple where the husband recently discovered that the child is in his, and he came home confronting his wife about that. And she went on and on and on and on, denying the whole thing, telling the man, you are wrong, that the child is yours. And there was nothing she did not say to, justify her claim that the child is yours. I can't cheat on you. No, I'm not. The child is yours. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to send me away? And things like that. So the next thing the husband said to her was that this is the DNA result of our child. So you knew all these years that the baby is not mine, and you kept living under the same roof with me, sharing the same bed with me, and pretending that the child is mine. So that was the genesis of this whole discussion today. So the question again is, what will you do if you find out that your child is not yours? And you find out, what will you do when you find out? Or if you find out, because there is actually no reason for you to do a DNA test if there is no suspicion in the first place. So we'll be talking about that, why the DNA test, and what the reaction will be, and the best way to go about it. We'll be talking from, you know, our hearts. So feel free to discuss with me. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, rather in the chat section. So let's get into it. And also, I'll be playing that video here for you guys to see the man's reaction the moment he found out that the child is not his. All right, guys. So let me get into the video. If you're watching me from the background, please say hi. Let me know we have someone here. Okay. Okay. Wow. Hey, goodness family. How you doing today? Goodness family said she will be very shocked if she finds out. All right, that's the first impression. Actually, the first reaction will be shock, and then after you handle your shock, then what will be the next reaction? If you're in the man's place, are you going to ask your wife to leave the home? Are you going to drive highway? Or are you going to continue to love the child and accept your wife? That's a very difficult one, but we're going to talk about it today and see how we deliberate about it. Definitely, if a woman is home and the husband walks into the house and said, and start throwing all those punches, all the accusation, saying that you lied to me, so you know all this while you've that this child is not mine, and you kept lying to me, and then what do you think? The woman, of course, let me even get the video. It might make it easier for me to see the, a practical reaction of someone. So let me get the video. And I'm going to tell you also my reaction after watching this video. I was like, no way. If I'm in this man's position, of course, the woman is leaving my house. No two ways about that. Um, where is the video again? Okay. This is the video.
So you have the mind, you have the guts to give me another man's child, Abi. Baby, it's your child. What's going on? Emeka, can you believe that my wife that I've been in my house for how many years? I've been living with other men. This is the DNA result. The DNA result is not correct. See, back out of my house. I tell you my house now. Don't do that. You're your child. Back out of my house. Okay, why are the DNA results not saying that this child is my own? Or sometimes you know that this results are scam. Yeah, I think it's from the front. Listen to me. Landlord. Pack your things and leave my house. The other tenants are watching.
Okay.
Yes, please. It's what? Who knows if they have been worshiping my wife? It's what? Landlord, you know that cannot be. I am warning you now. I don't want to get angry more than this. I don't want to get mad at you. Okay. Landlord, please just. Emeka, I don't want to get mad. Emeka, I don't want to get mad. Emeka, can you imagine after 6 years of childlessness, I finally got this girl, and at the end of the day, I'm discovering that this girl is not my child. Okay. It's your guy you talk now. See, pack your things and leave my house. Just go and meet the man that take you this child. Listen, Emeka. Do not let me begin to think that you're the one that was sleeping with my wife. Landlord. Yeah, I don't know why this baby is looking like you. I don't like it. Landlord, that cannot be possible. Emeka. Okay, it was a mistake. Are you hearing? Madam. Are you hearing? I said, book not the lie. Book do not lie. It was a mistake, Abi. You think I will not find out? Abi? You think I will not find out? Okay. You think I will not find out?
Okay. Ugona's family is saying that she doesn't believe the video. It could be a sketch. Yeah, it could be a sketch, because a lot of people are doing too much in Nigeria to at least entertain people, and then from these sketches, they're actually telling people stories. Then again, there is this TV show in the US. It's called the Maury Show. Everything they do about in that particular show is about DNA. If you're having a problem that the child, or rather suspicion that the child is not yours, if you want to come to Maury Show, you appear to a Maury Show. They're going to conduct a DNA test in the US here, and then the result will be announced on the show. So, and he's been doing this for many, many, many years. I guess it's over 2 decades that he's been doing this show. And so this might be a sketch, but that's somebody's reality. That's somebody's story. That's somebody's pain. Okay, it happens all the time. The Maury Show on TV is aired every day. When I mean every day, and they will like showcase more than 5-6 DNA test results. They will tell their story the next day, another one. So it happens, and that's the reality of it. So in this case, we've seen this man's reaction here. He came home, started throwing the woman's things out, asking her to pack out of the house. And then the woman was pleading that it's not true, that why was it behaving that way? He now said, okay, I have a DNA test. And then a neighbor came in to intervene because they were fighting. A neighbor was calling him landlord, so he is the owner of the property where they live in, and telling him, please, please, to just calm down, calm down, calm down, that this result might not be true and all of that. The next thing the neighbor heard, the way you're supporting my wife, I hope you're not the one that has been, you know, okay, that been dating my wife, that kind of situation. So the man screamed, wow. Then in the middle of the video, the woman started saying, I am sorry, that it was a mistake, that he's been pressuring me. I want a child, I want a child. There is still more to this video than what we just listened. So she's beginning to admit to the fact that this child is not her husband's child. And from the man's story, he said after 6 years of childlessness, and she now happens to be pregnant. They had this baby, and the baby in question is over 2 years. So after 8 years of childlessness and then having the baby, and then the man is just realizing that the child is not his. So the shock on the guy's reaction, the voice, the tone would tell you just an idea, to give us an idea what a man could go through, or what could be going on in a man's mind when you realize that this is the situation and this is what is happening and this is your reality. Then the question will now be, if you find out, what would you do, right? That's our question. How would you react? Are you going to forgive your wife for maybe so many years, or and move on with the whole thing as though it never happened? Are you going to still love the child the way you've loved the child from the onset? Or are you going to throw them away and ask them to leave your home? Or are you going to swallow the whole thing because of shame of what the society will say, what the people in your compound will say? Are you going to cover it up, maybe because on your part, you can't be able to father a child? These are many questions we'll be throwing out today. And these questions could be reasons why somebody will react in a certain way when you find out that this is what your case is. So let me know what your thoughts are in the chat section. I will be glad to read them as well. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video for me. And don't forget to share if you have a community page, so we have more people in the house. All right. So I'll be reading your comment as well in the comment section. Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Ugonna is saying, I heard some doctors and nurses do swap children. How true? Yeah, that one, there is nothing that could not be true in this world anymore. We can't pass that. There is nothing. A lot of things are happening. When I mean a lot of things are happening. And we can't say this one is not true or this one is true. It could be possible that they do that. But what I know that these days, the hospitals are being more careful in the sense that the moment a child is born, that moment a child is born, as they're, handing over your child to you, to your chest, to like the first moment, to embrace your child and all of that. Once that is done, they're going to take that child from you straight to the table where they dress up the child and everything. And as they're trying to dress the child, they are putting a wristband, electronic wristband on the child. And that electronics wristband they're putting on the child is going to have the mother's name, and it's going to be the same electronic chip that is with the mother and that of the baby, so that they will know whose child this particular baby is. So they're being more careful. When I mean more careful, extremely careful. And overseas also, they go the extra mile, that the band they're wearing your child is a dictator. People don't know that. So I want to believe the chances of swapping babies or even stealing babies these days are very slim because of electronics, or rather technology. So that wristband they're wearing your child is a dictator. Why did I say that? If you take that child past the exit of the door without them removing, it's going to pick an alarm. Yeah, it's going to blow alarm immediately. So people are being more careful these days, and hospitals and management, hospital management, are going the extra mile to make sure that all these things are curbed, and they don't happen again. But I know in every rules there are general exceptions. I know there might be an exception, especially in third world countries, undeveloped countries, where they don't even have sufficient electricity, talk more of having all the technologies to dictate what is going on, and whereby they don't have the privacy of a mother to one room kind of labor room. So a lot of things, a lot of things are happening, and I can't deny the fact that there might be some element of truth about that statement. A woman may be innocent, so some hospitals are mean, can do the impossible. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that some hospitals could be. And okay, another thing is this, okay? Um, if we are talking about a woman being innocent, hospitals can be very mean. That can actually be dictated through DNA tests. So if they run a DNA test on the woman and the child, is definitely going to show that this child is not my child, okay? And then they will be able to trace it back to the hospital that something had happened. That you can't tell me the child you gave us, that is our child, is neither me nor my husband. Duh. So in that case, they will be able to trace where the problem is coming from. But whereby the child's DNA is that of the mother and not that of the father, that's where the problem is. Okay. So in terms of the hospital might be mean, that can be also be taken care of. What both the parents need to do, uh, what they need to do will be to go for DNA tests on both of them. Yeah, the mother and the father of the child will run a DNA test with that of the baby that you know, will I say, that was given to them. When they run the DNA test, if it was a hospital swap, definitely the DNA will not be of the mother, neither will it be of the father. And that will help them quickly to run back to the hospital and start asking questions, bring investigators, report them to the police or what have you. And then they will be able to conduct investigation and know what is going on. So in the case of the hospital swap, that can be easily dictated, and that can be easily will I say, be handled. But whereby that they did not notice any of this, or they did not do a DNA test, and it's happening 20 years after. I don't even want to be in their shoes anyway. But if that still be the case, it happened 20 years after. Most of these hospitals, they are not just there for 2 years. Most of them as well as old as most children, most adults. So they will know, they will still need to run DNA tests on both couple, the mother and the father. Yes, they need to run DNA tests on both of them. And if that happens to be the case, it's now left for them to decide, even if we pursue this hospital, are we ever going to get our original child, or should we just forget it and then do what? Love our child the way we've been loving him or her. So that will be the case here. Hey, Chomi, my sister. Chomi that have abandoned me. Oh, this one you remembered me today. It's like This Saturday is a free Saturday for my chummy. Thank you so much, Chummy Creative, for joining me. I really, really appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm talking about DNA palaver. I'm talking about what would someone do if they find out um, that the child that they've been loving is actually not their biological child. What would that person do? So I'm discussing that today. I had a program on Thursday on YT here with my ladies of Hot Topics, and we kind of talked about um, go for a DNA test when in doubt. So that brought a lot of questions, brought a lot of unfinished business. We deliberated for over 2 hours and we couldn't all bring our opinion out because a lot of people came in and they were contributing. It was a very active one. So I decided to like do a sequel to that, which is now a different question. What will you do if one finds out? As a man, what will you do if you find out that your child that you've loved this much is not yours? Thank you so much, Chomi. I really appreciate. I know you didn't. I'm just here teasing you. Thank you for the thumbs up as well. So that's my discussion today. And I played a video that led to all of this. The video here, you know.
So you have the mind, you have the guts to give me another man's child, I mean. It's your child. What's going on? Emeka, can you believe that my wife that I've been in my house for how many years? I've been sleeping with other men. This is the DNA result. The DNA result is not correct. See, go back to my house. I said leave my house now. Okay, why are the DNA results not saying that this child is my own? But sometimes you know that these results are scam. Yeah, I think it's from the front. Listen to me. Landlord, pack your things and leave my house. The other tenants are washing. Yes, please. There's a wash. Who knows if I've been washing my life? There's a wash. Landlord, you that kind of job. I am warning you now. I don't want to get angry more than this. I don't want to get mad at you. Okay. Landlord, please, Joyce. Emeka, I don't want to get mad. Emeka, I don't want to get mad. Emeka, can you imagine after 6 years of childlessness, I finally got this girl, and at the end of the day, I'm discovering that this girl is not my child. Okay. It's your guy you talk now to. See, pack your things and leave my house. Just go and meet the man that take you the child. Listen, Emeka. Do not let me begin to think that you're alone. I was sleeping my wife. Yes, I don't know why this baby is good like you. I don't like it. Landlord, Emeka. Okay, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Are you hearing? Madam. Are you hearing? I said book not a lie. Book not a lie.
Book not a lie.
Book do not lie. It was a mistake, Abi. You think I will not find out? Abi? You think I will not find out? Okay. You think I will not find out? Oh, so you think I will not find out one day that this girl is not no wonder. Anytime she call me daddy, my body doesn't speak to me. I will not be happy. Because I need to understand that this daddy is not coming from the innermost part of my life. See, I will not settle any.
So guys, you heard the lady eventually admitting to the fact that yes, the child is not the husband's child, that they've been married for 6 years without a child, and the husband has been bothering her. I want a baby, I want a child, I want a child. So she had to do what she had to do to be pregnant. Okay, so this one, it might be a sketch like Ugonna said here, and let's assume this is a sketch. Okay, so this let's assume it's a sketch, but that's the reality of a lot of people in our society today. That's the reality. The man is not addressing the fact that, okay, you've lived with your wife for 6 years, you couldn't get her pregnant, you've been asking for baby, suddenly a child came, Does that mean maybe your infertility just cured itself overnight? You know, you've lived for 6 years with a woman, no child, right? That would be the time for doing a lot of tests medically, getting medical attention to even know if there is any problem. Why are we not making babies and all of that? So if they had gone for tests within that 6 years they were waiting, is either the test result will come in the sense that the man is cannot be able to father a child, or it could be that the man has, wow, see me and super chat to Chomele. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you so much. Thank you for this encouragement. I really, really, really love it. It is sweet me for body. Hey, thank you so much, Chome Creative. Thank you. I really appreciate you for the super chat. Thank you, thank you. I am speechless. Let me put it that way. All right. So back to my topic. So the man did not realize that maybe he was impotent. Maybe he has some fertility issues that is making him, able to like impregnate his wife. Okay, the wife just tried with someone, and then boom, she's pregnant. Assuming they were doing the needful within that six years of childlessness, the man would have realized if he's capable of having a child or not. And then when the child comes, suddenly, it will not be a surprise to him, not the woman. But I guess they were just believing God. Nigerian now, the first thing is just to run to your pastor, run to your church. So maybe they've been believing God. They never did any medical check or even went for any medical assistant. So it could be the scenario here. It became a very shocking surprise to the husband that the child I've lost so much and all of that is actually not mine. But the thing is, after getting the initial anger, the initial shock, the initial surprise, the initial being pissed that the woman you've been living with, has been lying to you under your roof, and she'll still come back and make your meals and make the bed and things like that, is a lot for someone to process. And then that will bring the issue of trust, because trust is betrayed. And then would that person ever trust that kind of woman again? Would that person ever, ever, ever love that kind of person again? So it brings a lot of challenges, a lot of hiccups in relationships and marriages. And this is a typical one of, those challenges. Then how would the person do? Assuming, okay, this particular baby is about 2 to 3 years old, and they're just realizing that. So that was quick. If I would say that wasn't a long time. So they can be able to like address it. After getting angry, the best thing I will ask a person in this scenario is, if you notice such a thing, if you cannot handle the shock, you can just walk away and then find a place to cool your head. After cooling your head, you now come back and have a talk with your wife. Yeah, that talk must be discussed. It must be discussed. Have that conversation with your wife on way forward, okay? You have every right to be angry, especially if you've been faithful on your part. Not when you're not faithful, you have all kinds of side chicks, at the background. There you now come and be acting Mr. Macho. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So if you've been a faithful husband and suddenly realize this, that's when the pain will be so much for a man to handle. But if he's a man that has been doing jumpy also, you find out that, yeah, what you've been doing outside is also happening in your home, right under your nose, and you were not aware. So in that situation, scenarios are different on how people will definitely handle it. But my best option on advising is to seek professional help. When I mean professional help, go for counseling, because if you think you can handle it all by yourself, you might end up messing it up. If the child is still young, that you predicted on time, you can still love that child. Forgive your wife and let's move on. But whereby you cannot, though, not be by force to be in a very, very horrible environment for the rest of your life. If you cannot forgive, if you cannot heal, forgive and heal, there is no way staying with that person, because it's going to be any slightest mistake that the lady or the woman in the picture makes in the future, this reference point is going to be thrown back at that person. It's going to be a constant reminder whenever you see that child, because you haven't really healed, you haven't truly forgiven and healed. Whenever you see the child in question, you're going to do what? Bring that case again. You're going to bring it up, that this child doesn't is not anything like me. Am I even surprised? It's not my child. And another thing we should remember, in the peak of our anger and our bitterness and our shock and the utterances that might come out from our mouths, we should also be very mindful. If that child in question is there, and if that child has gotten to the age of what ability to hear and understand what adults are talking about, just know that whatever we speak, the child will understand. Unless if he's a baby that does not understand. So in our anger, in dealing with this, in our anger, in our frustration, we should be careful, mindful, if that child is gonna hear what I'm gonna say. How is he going to damage that child? How is it going to affect that child? What will be that child's situation if she gets to hear this? The lady later complained that the husband also cheats. Wow. Okay, if that's the case, then what will become of their fate here? And you were doing it now, so I've been telling you, warning you not to be going outside. You have chick A, baby C, baby B, baby 3, and then all over the place. You think I don't know that you're dating that lady in the next street, in the next compound, and all of that? If that happens to be the case, they're on a very long thing. The talk is going to be a very long talk, because the man will still say, after all, I'm the man. There is no after all these days. Gone are the days you say, after all, I'm the man. I can do what I want. You can't do what you want, because people's tolerance level are different. And today's society, the young people these days are very selfish. They are not selfless like our parents. Our parents are very selfless. Our parents are very understanding. They are very patient. They can endure for Africa. That is not the case today. Things have really changed. Okay. The impact of global networking has opened the eyes of a lot of people, even in our primitive villages. Yes, their eye don't open. They've understood the fact that, no, you can't just do this kind of a thing and walk away with it and think, yes, you don't hurt me when you do those things, and for that reason I'm also going to do cheat on you, and then so that you know how it feels. Some people are wired that way, so that you know how you feel. You understand? It shows that there is bitterness in that person's mind towards the way the husband has been behaving towards her and all of that. So that could be the case. Chami said the lady later complained that the husband also cheats on her. You see, that could be the case, definitely. And if that's the case, they need to still sit down and talk. And if the man is the type that have conscience, that is the time to work. Forgive yourself, forgive your wife, and see how you can build a home together. But I will tell you that 80% of our African men will still come and say, after all, I married you with my money. You are my wife, and I am the man here. The man is allowed to do what he wanna do. But like I said, times have changed. Situations are no longer the same. So people should start waking up. If you're that man hearing my voice, I will think, after all, I'm the man. After all, I married you with my money. You better start rethinking and looking word and find out the kind of wife you have at home. If she's the type that has morals, as she was brought up with morals, she understands what it is that, yes, I know I can't do this. in as much as my husband is cheating outside, I can't do that. I can't live with that. You need to find out if your wife, if she's the type that has conscience, that no, there are certain things I can't do. You know, you can't do a situation of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, in marriages, that's not the best way to go about it. For the fact that one person is misbehaving does not mean the second person should start misbehaving. There should be a sane one, you know, between the two. One person must be sane at all times. That's the balance in marriage. If this person is hyper, the other person should have a very calming spirit to like calm situation down. When two charging poles meet and they hit their heads together, oh boy, now spark we will get now. So that's why, for the fact that the woman is doing it shouldn't mean the man should do it. For the fact that the man is doing it does not mean the woman should do it. There should be a balance. There should be one person that is just there to calm the situation down. If you have a very spiky wife that if she's angry, she's all over the place, her mouth, her voice is this loud, the husband should know how to calm the situation down. Is either you walk into another room, settle down there, let her get through her tantrums. By the time she's done with the tantrum, you come back and say, honey, let's talk about this. Okay. That's the way I'll look at it. But this situation is very difficult to handle. Chome is laughing here. It's very difficult to handle in the sense that I don't even want to be in any of their shoes, whether the man or the woman. But if I try to put myself in the shoes of the man, hey, and this story happens to, I will say, oh girl, especially if I'm faithful, okay? If I'm the man, if I'm the faithful husband, I will say no. I'm still going to love this child, but maybe from afar. I don't want to have you, the mother, in my home. I don't want to see you anymore because you are a constant reminder of cheat. You are a constant reminder of women can be trusted. So I don't want to do that. I want to give myself the opportunity to heal and then see how to move on. Another thing I would advocate in this kind of situation, yeah, you guys can actually decide to like give yourself some gap to heal, because seeing each other in the same room after the event, oh my goodness, I don't even know how anybody can process that. But the man could say, you know what, I'm going to walk away. I need some time. Is it that you travel out of your place you guys reside? You can go to your permanent home, which might be your village. Just or you check in a hotel and have a time, a alone time, to think, to deliberate, even seek the face of the Lord, because He has the best answers to whatever problem we are facing. God is always there to like calm us down. He's always there to like talk back to us in any situation. If you have a listening ear and if you can understand when God is speaking, definitely you get that serenity you need and the calming spirit you need to handle a situation like this. Because you know what? It's not funny. And this kind of situation, when a man finds out, is not something, the moment you find out that the child is not yours, that the DNA is saying otherwise, you carry your phone and call your mother. There are some men that are, we call them the manisi. My mother said, there are men like that. They listen to their mother more than they listen to themselves. So it's not the time to make those phone calls, call your siblings, it's the time to have a alone time. Think, through it before you take an action. Okay. I know someone will say, how many people do think about their problem before they take action? It's after the action, then the thinking will start. I know that's how human nature is wired, but there are still few people out there that will know when the heat is so hot, you don't have to react. That will be the time you need to be quiet, get into your silent mood and figure things out in your head. And with the help of God, you find a better solution than the Basbos. Basbos is interesting. It makes everybody, wow, whoo, yeah, it makes the news and all of that. But the healing process after the Basbos might be longer than the healing process when you think your thoughts through before you react. So it's a different thing here. What do you do? Do you send your child away? Do you send the woman away? And if it happens to be that you found out maybe maybe by the time the child is 18, she or he is beginning to become an adult, is beginning to, exhibit a lot of different traits that is not neither you or anybody in your family. Nobody has ever behaved like that. And this particular child is now an adult. Everybody in your family, you guys are a focused kind of family. The guys want to become something, the ladies want to become something, and then your child is that kind of a person, nonchalant, not interested in becoming anything, rather sleep, wake up at age 18, 20. You begin to wonder, is this child really mine? I haven't seen that before in my entire family. And then let's assume that's the time the man found out that this particular child in question might not be his. So what will you do? You've loved this child for will I say, the 18 years of his life, 20 years of his life, 21 years of his life. Will you now suddenly throw the child away? Where will you start from? Where will you start from? So that's when the discussion should happen. And if there happen to be other children in the marriage or relationship, that means that you're going to conduct a DNA test on all of them, because you're already angry. You can't handle the truth at the moment. So after conducting the DNA test, assuming that was happened to be a mistake, will you forgive your wife? Assuming that happens to show that more kids are not yours, what will you do? There's when I came in newly to the US, the Maury show was one of the things that, those wow moments. Does this kind of thing happen in this life? When you come into the country, especially US, there are a few things you need to watch to understand the society that you just, landed into. You need to watch 48 hours for you to understand how crime situations are handled within 48 hours. There is one they call snapped. Okay. They said that the man snapped and then deleted the wife, or the woman snapped and deleted the husband. That was one of the most scariest TV show I've ever watched. And all of those things they show on those TV are true life stories, but they reacted them. Okay. And then Maury show is one of them you need to watch to understand that, yeah, there are serious DNA issues in this country. One of the ones that got me so, in fact, it cracked me up so badly. There was on this episode, a woman gave birth to twins, and the man she was claiming is the father of the child said, "No, well, I'm not the father of this child, of the children. I'm not their father. It cannot be." He came to Maury and was saying with every sense of being that he's not the father of the children. So when they ran the test, it happens that the man she claimed is not the father of the child. She brought another. In fact, that particular lady brought like 5 men to Maury's show. And out of the 5 of them, nobody was the father of the children. So they now said, you know what, they are going to do more interview. They start asking, she said she went to a club and then she hung out with few people in the club, and that was where the action happened. Now she's finding it difficult to remember who and who. Eventually, they found another person, brought the person to the show, and the person happens to be the father of one of the twins. One of the twins. I was like, whoa, what happened here? So 2 people can actually, father twins, 2 men, 2 different men. I was like, how did it happen? The biology that I studied, style like acting up. How did it happen? Conception, what have you? I started wondering, how was that possible? I wondered and wondered and wondered. So the lady now started talking and talking. Yeah, after I met this one, I met that one. So she was busy having, it's like they were gang doing things, the ones they call a threesome and 20-some and whatever. So eventually she got pregnant from the 2 guys. Okay, so Things happen. Things happen. So the guy now said, okay, how am I even going to am I going to separate these children? And because this one is mine, the other one is not mine. What? Anyway, you know what? I'm only going to take care of the one that is mine. I can pay child support for 2 children, and that for another child that is not mine, and the story continued. So in that kind of situation, what would the person do? It takes the grace of God. So they will continue to search and search until they find the father of the other child. So these kind of situations, they kind of get me, you know, cracking, in the sense that I'll be wondering, what happened? How did it happen? Is it possible? A lot of things these days are possible. I'm so serious when I say that. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are definitely happening. Okay. And that's the true story of it. A lot of things are happening. So it depends on which how you want to handle it. Do you need to get a counseling meeting with someone, with a professional, or do you just go home and hide in shame because you don't want the compound people, your community, to know that you cannot impregnate your wife? Um, a lot of things, a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen. Honestly, a lot of things. When you see the real stories going on, you understand that the world is deep. It's not just what we think of it. The world is deep. You start wondering, how do these kind of people, how do they function? How? No matter how many hows we ask, things happen, and that's the truth of it. Things happen. So I want to say thank you again for joining me today, all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Choma, for contributing in this discussion. I really thank you. It's not easy, but I mean, DNA infidelity is what it is, okay? And uh, imagine some people are coming here and they're not even saying a word. They will just walk from behind and leave. Wow. Guys, contributing the discussion. Let's hear your opinion. Let's know what you're thinking. Contribute, guys. I mean, contribute in the discussion, okay? It makes it fun when we have people contributing in the discussion. Hey, see my Daddy Bella. Daddy Bella, thank you for the amazing super chat. Okay, you're the man in the house now. I don't catch a man. Oh yeah, tell me what you think. Don't run away, Daddy Bella. What do you think? What will be your reaction if you were that man? Anyway, let me rephrase. I played a video about a couple that discovered that the child in the marriage is actually not his child. So the man was reacting, throwing the woman's things out of the home. So my question would be, what would you do if you find out that your child is not yours through DNA? Daddy Bella, answer me in the comment section. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate. Thank you. So Chomi, honestly, thank you, Chomi. It's really nice having you here with me today. I really appreciate this. I really do. Thank you so much. Thank you. So the question is, what will you do? I've answered few of the questions. I answered, it all depends. At the stage you found out, you can't tell me a child you've raised or trained up to university level, maybe, and some people do find out at that age. Maybe the guy was about to get married and realized that his blood type or something. Some people, maybe they needed a blood donor at the time, and then they realized that his or her parents are not matched, and then his siblings are not matched. The child in question, if he's an adult, will start asking questions. How come nobody in the house is my match? Does that mean I was adopted? Does that mean you guys are not my parents? An adult can ask those questions, and those are the kind of situations. Hi, Constance. Thank you for joining me and welcome to my live stream. Daddy Bella said, you will first drink water on top of it. The thing is not a laughing matter. Honestly, I just did hear the laugh. It's not a laughing matter. Thank you so much, Constance, for joining. I really appreciate, and thank you guys for the thumbs up. Not be only first drink water on top of it. It's not easy to handle. It's not an easy pill to swallow, no matter how we look at it. Whether the child is 2 months old and you find out, or the child is 35 years old, or maybe the child is about to get married, and the church is requesting some tests. In the course of running the test between him and the new bride, he realizes that his genetics is kind of different or funny. What will you do? What will you do? The child will run back to the parents. Dad, what's going on here? There is something wrong with my gene, blah blah blah. And if they run tests with the rest of the kids in the home, and the parents and nothing is matching, that means it's a child swap in the hospital. We know those things happened back in the day in Africa. I don't know if it's still happening today. A lot of nurses and doctors have already arranged with maybe a man that's been looking for a son, or maybe a man that's been looking for a daughter, and all of that. So we heard those stories in the past. I'm not saying they are not possible. They are definitely possible. That was what one of my early people, wrote on the chat room. If it happens to be a swap child, you can still trace your step back to the hospital and find out. But the thing is that the couple that took your child, you might not find them anymore. And you've come to love this one. You've come to embrace this one. You've come to raise this one. What will you do? Will you now say, because it's not my biological child, I'm going to do what? No. It's a case of, you can sue the hospital, okay? Sue them if you have every evidence to sue them that was where you had your child. Hi, we Unlock Nation. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate. The couple can sue the hospital, and that might result to closing down the hospital if the case be, because it might raise the alarm. Other couples might also come, experiencing the same thing, might come out to help with the lawsuits. But the thing is that you might not be able to trace the particular couple that your own biological child was handed to. So in that case, what will you do? You just go back home and love your child. It's not the issue of cheating in this case. It's not any cheating. It's just the hospital mistake. So you go back and love the child. But whereby is the issue, it comes as a result that the woman cheated with someone else and then brought in a child that is not mine. That's a more difficult one to handle. And what will you do? So we Unlock Nation, I'm asking today, what would a man do if he finds out that the child he loves or his child is not his through a DNA test? What would the reaction be? That's the question I'm asking today. Daddy Bella has told me that you just have to drink water on top. Drinking water will not solve the problem. By the time the water gets down and you go to the bathroom and let it out, you still have your problem, okay? Whenever you look at that child, it's a constant reminder, hey, so this my lovely child is not mine, okay? And then, so this my wife that been cooking for me, that this woman can give me poison if she can live with this kind of secret in my home. There is nothing she cannot do. Those are the natural instincts that will kick in once you find out that is the situation. It will kick in. Suspicion will come in. Trust is broken here. You start wondering, what else would this man do? What else? What else? But like we know, our people back home, the men, they're not even faithful husbands, okay? Most of them have side chicks up and down. And then in that case, what will you do if you are a cheating husband and your wife now said, because you've been cheating for years and I've been warning you, but you did not listen? For that reason, me, I also went out. It's unfortunate that it happens that I got pregnant. What will you do? That will be the question. What will you do? Will you now say, even if I was cheating, I have side chicks up and down, I'm still your husband. You're still my wife. I married you. I paid dowry on your head. So you're still my wife. After all, if a man cheats, so what will you do? That's the question. How will you go about it? So let me read what the of the child is not his, through getting a paternity test, then I would declare 9 times out of 10 they walk away. Sky's free. You have rare people who would claim the child out of the kindness of their heart. You see, that is a man talking. You see, eh, but we unlock. I totally understand you here. Walk away if the child is not yours through paternity. But I'm gonna ask here. Let's assume this child in question has lived with you for the rest of his life. Let's say you found out when the child is just getting out of college. He met this lady, who wants to get married, and running some medical tests, he realized something was wrong. He came asking you guys that this is what they diagnosed about me. Is there any other person in the family that have experienced this kind of situation or have this kind of medical situation? And then that will raise an eyebrow. Everybody in the family will start going for testing to find out what is going on with the genetics, right? And then at that point, you find out that the is actually of your wife's genetics, but not of the husband. And you've raised this child. The child was just getting out of college. You've loved this child for 23 years of his life or 23 years of her life, and it happens to be daddy's girl or daddy's boy, and you've loved each other and all of that. What will you do? Will you still say everybody should go their way? I'm done. I guess it's difficult. I guess it's extremely difficult at that time. And in that case, it's still, yeah, the woman cheated and lived with that lies for 23 years. What will you do? What will you do? I know most people will say, yeah, call a spade a spade. I'm going to walk away because I've lived with a liar. A liar in my home, cooking, eating dinner with me, going, sleeping on the same bed with for 23 years. How much more will she do? And if all the 23 years she never came up to like say, sweetheart, I'm sorry, this is what happened. She never owned up to her mistakes. She never discussed, she pretended all was well. What would you do? It's a very difficult scenario here, but we know basically what I will say. If it happens to be the man, and I found out on time that the child is not mine, and definitely I won't be able to live in the same house with the woman. I wouldn't. Because one thing is that you cheated, and then we all, yeah, you cheated. I can forgive you for cheating, but having a baby out of it, living with me for the rest of my life, is not an easy pill to swallow. It's not. I like being upfront. I like being sincere. Assuming it's a mistake from the hospital, then I can deal. I will know, yes, my wife is faithful. I am faithful, and we'll get through this together. But if I'm the faithful husband and you're busy, you know, walking out, parading yourself all over the place, is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. We should be honest with our opinion. It's extremely difficult to handle. I can only speak for myself. I would probably stick around, but we had to have the discussion at some point. Definitely, definitely. That is what I'm saying as well. You need to have that discussion. If you have lived with this situation for 20 something years, that's the only father that child knows. That's the only, if it's especially a girl child, they have this attachment with their fathers. And then all of a sudden, it happens that my father that I lost so much is actually not my father, that my mother did XYZ. The girl will hate the mother. That's just the obvious. She wouldn't want to see with the mother with her eyes. They're definitely not going to be friends anymore. It's not a path anybody should find should go through. Is a hard one. But things like that happen. And most of the ones that I've watched on Maury's show, situations like this whereby the child is grown and just realizing that the father is not her father, they end up having that relationship. They continued because they've come so far. Some of the men were like, okay, I know I've loved you all your life. This is the only person you've known as father. I'm not going to deny you of that parental right. I can still be your father. But the point is that I don't want to be in a relationship with this woman. She's nothing but lies. You know, that's the end of most marriages, in all honesty. That's the end of it. The relationship the father and the child, they establish, some of them will take it from there going forward. They will continue. After all, the child is already an adult. But as for the mother and the man being together, the chances are very slim. But in Africa, I know they will cover up because we know how to pretend as if all is well, why all is not well. um if you discuss with some people in your community, they will tell you, are you going to throw the child away now? Are you going to throw the mother of your children away? There are so many things that are going to say. Sentiments will come, emotions will be running high and low. And then they will now tell you that if Christ can forgive the world, who are you not to forgive your wife? If you go to your priest will tell you the same. You have to find a way to forgive your wife, and then people make mistakes, and that was her own mistake, blah, 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 blah. So it depends on the way you heal. If you can forgive, not the one that you come tomorrow. If the woman coughs in the bedroom, you say that useless woman. If she cooks food and there happen to be too much pepper, you remind her that the father, the child in question, was not yours. If that's not the kind of human being you are, you have to forgive truly and move on. But if you know you're that type that do not forget, or you don't forget, you don't forgive, please don't make that woman to be a slave in that home with that kind of torture going on every time. Don't. Nobody deserves to be tortured in the very place they call home, in the very place they can find comfort. Nobody deserves that torture. Yes, yes, yes. It's a hard one. Absolutely, Chi. Absolutely. Um, Whereby a man cannot father the children, of course, that man is not going to act. The man, especially if he knows that he can't, he will even thank the woman for helping him. I'm telling you, he will even have thank the woman. There is this a family I know in Lagos. The wife was married as a young bride. I think she was married at 17, and she waited for 10 years, no child. When they ran all the medical tests and everything, the woman was very healthy. Everything was complete, but the man has the low whatever, and they tried to go through medical treatment. Nothing was working. Over 10 years, nothing worked. All of a sudden, we now heard that the woman was pregnant. We went to visit the baby. We jubilated. The mother of the woman was actually the one that said that they've told the daughter when they were going through that in that 10 years, the daughter refused to leave the marriage. That I love this man. That's the only man I've known all my life and all of that. I love my husband. I'm not gonna walk away. Then they now said, okay, since you don't want to walk away, why not go somewhere and make children? Eventually, they have 6 kids together and they're still living happily very after. So different folks for different people, right? So that's just it. Thank you so much, Praise Car. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I will say that you don't have to be as far as being a couple. Yeah, you don't have to be together, but someone has to be a parent to the child. Absolutely, absolutely. We are Lock Nation. You just hit it on the head. That is the situation. Somebody has to be a parent to that child, definitely. And we here know how our people here think. That father will definitely more likely to have a better relationship with the child than the woman that cheated. Kids, they don't want to hear that, yeah, I'm a product of cheat. Children here, they will use it against their mother anytime, any day. They don't want to hear that. And then again, some of them will go for that to like ask the mother question, okay, if daddy is not my father, who then is? So it will now be for the woman to start retracing her steps of many years to figure out who the hell, the father of that child was. And I mean, it's a lot of, stories. It's a lot of stories. Priska, if you're still here, YouTube Nigerian space was kind of quiet yesterday. I didn't even know what was going on YouTube until when I was retiring to bed about 10 p.m. I watched Neka's video, Nelo's sister. I cried my soul out, and it took me down memory lane. That painful part, I've experienced a little of it. I cried and cried and cried. I said, at the end of the day, I said, God, you know best. Okay? You know best. You know best. Everything will leave into your hands. Yeah, Priska, I hope you understand what I just talked about. We spoke yesterday, but at the time we spoke in the afternoon, my afternoon, which was your evening, I didn't know what was going on YouTube until my midnight, not midnight, my 10 p.m., which happens to be your, will I say your morning or thereabouts, that I saw what was happening on YouTube. I really felt so bad. And up till this morning, again, the thought of that particular video has not left me. Okay. I don't want to discuss it here because I don't want tears to start rolling. We need to let the people involved to deal with the grieving time. So that is it. That is it. Thank you guys for being amazing. Thank you for your amazing contributions. Thank you for your thoughts today. Actually, thank you so much. We Unlock Nation. I really understand your point, and definitely I support and believe that reaction will be the best reaction any fair person can think about. But the scenarios are different, especially in Africa. If it happens to be that the man himself cannot father children, definitely such a man is not going to say anything, nor even bring up the DNA thing in the first place. They will not. They will pretend as if that does not happen and continue to love their children and move on. All right, guys. I hope I've covered everything. I'm not forgetting anything. But the best advice I will give before I close today, I will say, if you are a man and you happen to find yourself in such a situation, the best thing I will say is find a way to get counseling. Yeah, that will help you heal. Getting counseling will definitely help you heal. And in that case, you feel a lot better. In that case, you feel a lot better if you speak with someone else. You feel a lot better when you hear other people, advise you than just going bam, 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 get out of my house, out of my way. I don't want to have anything to do with this, that. Yeah, healing will definitely help. Talking to someone will definitely help. And also, the best help anyone can get is talking to your maker. You can talk to God in prayers, ask for help, ask for understanding on how you're going to handle the problem. Okay. Thank you all. I really appreciate you guys. I want to end the stream at this point. I wanted it to be 1 hour so that others can rewatch if they want to. Thank you. Go Beyond. Yep. Thank you all. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys immensely for your contribution. Chomi Creative, thank you. Gunnar's family, Daddy Bella. Thank you for the super chats as well. I really appreciate the super chat. Chomi, thank you, Daddy Bella. You guys are amazing. You guys just, gave me some income on this stream. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys. So I'll be rounding up on my final notes is still going to be, if you find yourself in this situation, please do not react on the impulse. Take a break. Daddy Bella said, drink water on top and calm down. Take a moment of silence sit down somewhere quiet, think through it before you react. Okay, let your first reaction not be basbos. Let it not be in so much bitterness, and find a way to have a discussion. That talk needs to be discussed. Find a way. Yeah, Priska, is what you're thinking. Is what you're thinking. You can see I'm all blacked, wearing black today. Without no makeup. I'm just not feeling it. I have no makeup on this morning. I woke up with that heaviness in my heart. This was what I saw at 10 p.m. I woke up this morning. I was still feeling so bad. You know, is what you're thinking, Priska. You can go to her channel and check it out. I don't know. It's very difficult for me to discuss. I don't want to break down. I don't want to break down. We just need to give her the time to go through this process. And God in his wisdom, the all-loving, all-knowing, the all-compassionate God will help her and her family at this time. I know, Priska. I know. That's why I didn't want to talk about it initially when I started this link. Absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We Unlock Nation. Blessings. Thank you. Thank you, Daddy Bella. Thank you, Priska. Thank you, Choma. Thank you, Gunnar. Thank you, Go Beyond. And for every other person behind this screen, thank you guys for watching with me. My stream is every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. my time. It goes for 1 hour. Sometimes it exceeds 1 hour. It all depends on how much time I have in my hands. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate talking with someone today, because last night was a difficult night for me. And I couldn't just process that. At the time I saw it, my husband wasn't even home, so there was no adult in the house to talk about it. I had to call. My kids came in. What is going on, mommy? I didn't want to talk about it. Eventually, I have a daughter that will soon be 12, so I had to talk that with her. She was like, "Oh no." I said, "I know." So it was a good thing waking up and talking with you guys this morning. I really appreciate the stream. So I would say, please, before you rush in your decision, when you find out if you're in this position, please think it through before you act, and know that if we can love strangers, we can also love the one that have called us daddy or called us mommy. You can also love them unconditionally, despite what the case, is. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys. And I'll be saying, be well and stay well. Thank you guys. Ciao, ciao.